Hello, everybody. This is Nikki from It's Going to Be Okay. And it's been 2 weeks since I recorded a new episode, and I did not plan on that. But however, the had some things come up, time got away from me, and that's just how it went. So I'm here today, and I'm going to pick up where I left off. So today I'm going to talk about breaking the cycle of depression. So Um, interesting topic. I come from a family of mental disorders, behavioral disorders, and it seems like they were not addressed, which is something that they didn't do. Um, my great grandmother, my grandmother, and my mother. Still today, my mother refuses to. She acknowledges that she gets depressed, but she refuses to take care of it, take medication, which is her choice. However, I did not want to live that way. And but how do we break the cycle of depression? So, breaking the cycle of depression within a family requires a multifaceted approach that addresses emotional, psychological, and environmental factors. And then I've got three huge talking points to that I'm going to go over. So, in the meantime, before I get started, I just want to remind everybody that if you're listening to the podcast, just go to iTunes and rate and review. And if you're watching it on in YouTube, if you could comment, like, and subscribe, I would greatly appreciate that. So, without further delay, let's get started. Oh, shoot, I forgot I wasn't using my mouse today. Hello, and welcome to the podcast, Motherhood Unfiltered is Going to Be Okay. My name is Nikki, and I am a life coach and mental health advocate for moms. My mission is to help moms move forward with confidence as they overcome the hurdles of mental health struggles. I have personally experienced the challenges of depression and anxiety, and I know how hard it can be to feel like you're just surviving day to day. But with the right tools and guidance, it's possible to not just survive, but to thrive. As a coach, I provide support, encouragement, and practical skills to help moms build resilience and regain control over their lives. Through my work, I have seen firsthand the transformation that can occur when moms are empowered to take charge of their mental health and well-being. So if you're a mom who's feeling overwhelmed, anxious, or just not yourself, I want you to know that it's going to be okay. I'm here to help you navigate these challenges and move towards a life where you feel confident, fulfilled, and thriving. Let's connect and get started. Hello. So, like I said in the opening, we are going to talk about breaking the cycle of depression. And so, usually, depression is a multi-generational thing, and it's I believe it's a biological and an environmental um, thing that we all have to deal with when we grow up with it. For the longest time, I didn't realize that when my mom would get really sad in the winter times, or I didn't know that was depression. I just thought she would just get gloomy, because we were stuck inside during the winter times, and then during the spring and summer, even though we did get to go outside, she would be short tempered or whatever. So, um, and that's, nothing against her or whatever. She was a single mom taking care of 5 kids. I mean, it's a miracle she's made it this far without losing all of her marbles. So, but we find out that when one person in the family has depression, that most likely there's more than one. And for some reason, I grew up thinking that um, it was an environmental thing. So, like, it was a learned behavior. So I knew that, if my mom did this, then I was more than likely going to be depressed in the wintertime, or I would react a certain way to situations. And, I would react to a situation negatively instead of in a positive manner. And that was just because that's how I was raised, and that's how, the people around me reacted. So I thought that's how I should react. But, now that things have gotten, we know more about mental health, we know that a lot of it is a biological, um, within our bodies, in our minds, and everything. So, in saying that, I felt like, even though I did try to take care of myself, I did not educate my kids well enough about the whole thing. So, you know, I felt like if I kept it away from them, that they would not be affected by it. If I kept it away from their dad was a manic depressive, I was bipolar. So if I kept it away from them, they would not be affected by it. However, that's not true. Now that they're adults, um, they're dealing with their own issues, and it's not good at all. So and so now I'm trying to be supportive and talking to them and trying to give them the tools and direction that they need. Um, so anyway, so the talking points I have are number one is open communication and education. So anytime you don't know anything about a subject, the first thing you should do is just to learn more about that subject as much as you can. Pros, cons, who's against it, and who's for it. So that way you have a better understanding, not just who's for it and who's against it. That way you have a better base knowledge of and decide for yourself how you want to the next steps that you want to take. Step point number two is healthy coping mechanisms and support. So as we become adults, we need to learn good coping skills. When we are in these situations, how are we going to cope in these situations? What are some skills that we can learn? So when we are in a depressive mode, or if we are, a loved one is in a depressive mode, how can we support them? Because as mental health becomes more prevalent, and there are people that don't have to deal with that, and thank goodness they don't. So how can they be a support to you? How can, you support a loved one that is, that does have to deal with, that depression or some sort of a disorder. And then the last point is, I keep going to my mouse. I ran out of ports. Okay, so I got me a new microphone. I love it. It wasn't the exact one that I wanted, but it's better than the one I had. And so it's a USB. And then to have better internet support, because I was flaking out on the internet sometimes, I had to get a converter. So, and then I got me a bigger monitor, and so I needed to use a HDMI. So I ran out of ports. I'm running out of orifices over here, people. So anyway, since I'm using my laptop to read off my points, I'm using my touchpad, and I keep forgetting. I need to just get it away from here. That way, I so I thought, well, I can still use my mouse if I use my actual camera. but the battery is only 15 minutes long. And I can't keep it plugged in to run the video. There's a setting in there, and I haven't figured out how to manipulate it to keep it on. And so I'm thinking, okay, either figure out the setting or get a battery that will run longer than 15 minutes. My memory card is 90 minutes. So, I mean, I figured that part out. I got that part in here. It's too much for me sometimes. So the thing of it is, I keep forgetting I'm not using my mouth. Okay, so let's, so point number 3 is positive lifestyle changes and prevention. That's an important thing, people. Positive lifestyle changes. So when most people discover that they have depression is when they are in the middle of a pile of crap. When their life is upside down and the poo-poo is hitting the fan and the room is stinking up. So that's usually when we find out that, oh crap, nothing's turning out right. Everything I'm doing is a mess. Everything I'm doing is wrong, right? And I'm sleeping all the time. I'm not eating right. I've gained weight, or I've lost weight. I'm losing days. I don't know what time it is. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm forgetting things. All of those things that we've all, experienced from one point to another. So that is usually when we've discovered that we are in a funk, when we are depressed, and that's when we have to decide, wow, I've got to make a change, or I'm going to spiral out of control, and my life is not going to be worth a piece of crap. Yeah, I'm using the word crap a lot, or a pile of poo. So those are the 3 talking points that I am going to go over today. So, anyway, and unfortunately, generational depression, it has to start somewhere, people. I mean, you can't just say, I am what I am. That's what Popeye used to say. I am what I am. Well, no. If you want change in your life, you have to be the one to say, I am going to take a stand, and that change is going to start with me. Okay? Did I say change is going to be easy? No. Change is never easy. So, but it can be easy. It can get easier. So let me see here. If I feel like I'm over here doodling around, I'm not. I'm just trying to get my mouse to work. So, okay. So number 1, open communication and education. So what you want to do is encourage open and non-judgmental communication within the family about mental health and depression. So you create an environment where family members feel safe discussing their feelings and struggles. So if you know someone in your family that is struggling, it's just, you just get it out in the open, and with love and compassion, you talk about that. Do they need help? Do they need a number? Are they talking about, heaven forbid, suicide? Then you find the suicide prevention number and you give it to them. Help them save it in their phone. Put it on their favorites. Do they need a ride to do they need to schedule an appointment? Do they need a ride to the doctor? Sometimes we need to give up ourselves to help that person. And we need to be selfless about it. That's the way we pay it forward, is to be selfless about it. Um, be open about it. Let them know that they're in a safe space, that they can talk to you about it. A lot of people don't feel safe talking to other people about their emotions, about their mental health, about the fact that there's some days they go and go and go and they don't know what the heck they've been doing. They have been in robot mode and they don't even know if they've eaten. They don't even know if they wiped their butt when they went to take a dump in the toilet. They don't even know if they've showered or put deodorant on or brushed their teeth. Seriously. And they need someone that cares. So if you have a family member out there and they're smelling like a little BO, show them some little love and tender kindness. We all need that. We all need that. And if you don't know how to broach the subject, you pick up your smartphone, we all have them, and you Google it, or reach out to me and say, hey, Nikki, I have a loved one and I know there's something going on. I don't know what to say to them. I don't know how to get the conversation started. So you create an open and non-judgment, communication. And you just ask them, hey, are you doing okay? Are you feeling sad, or are you taking care of yourself? Do you need anything? And maybe they're not feeling sad. Maybe they just don't have any money to buy soap. I mean, I don't know. You don't know until you have those conversations, okay? So, you got to create an environment where family members feel safe discussing their feelings and their struggles, and that's the first thing you need to do. I know these conversations are from the point of view of someone that's not struggling with depression. But I felt like it was important because a lot of times I talk about things from someone who has depression and getting them to get out of their comfort zone and to push themselves to talk to somebody. But sometimes I don't want to say normal people, because we all have our things that we have to deal with. So I want you to open your eyes, be observant around your family, and friends. If you have friends or a coworker, if you're still working in an environment around you, you notice someone who's kind of down, just smiling at them. And, but it's easier for us to get involved with our families. So what you want to do is educate family members about the signs and symptoms of depression. So I do have a free PDF. I forgot the freaking three-letter word, the three letters, PDF about signs of depression. So, and in emphasizing that it's a medical condition and not a personal weakness. For the longest time, we looked at people who had these symptoms not as depression, not as a medical condition, but as a personal weakness, and we put them down for it, which was the wrong thing to do. We should never have done that. We should never ever have done that, right? I mean, but that's the beauty of being a human being. We can grow and learn and transform and just become better people. So this understanding, it reduces stigma, and it definitely encourages early intervention. What it does is it helps your loved one become get to the doctor sooner. And maybe they need medicine, maybe they don't. A lot of times, talk therapy is all they need, which is a form of counseling. And to me, talk therapy is like, it's the bomb because you can just go and just talk, and it helps you just talk out your feelings and just be able to express yourself in a positive manner and recognize how to express yourself positively without feeling rejected, without feeling down about yourself, and learning to say those things and then recognizing how you can work on those things and not feel bad about yourself, because those are just things that we need to work on, you know. So and then the last point for point one is, there are tons of resources out there. There's books, articles, and videos to help family members learn more about depression and how it can be managed and treated. I don't know how many channels I subscribe to about depression and anxiety, and just learning things that I can do to help myself. And some of them are so simple, but the thing that you have to do is find the one or two things that work for you, because we're all different. What may work for me may not work for you. Okay. So my favorites are just sitting in quietly. A lot of times I used to just go. First thing I would do was turn on the TV and put noise on, and then I would pick up my phone and start either getting on social media or turn my game on and just start blah, 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 and just numbing out. Well, now I try to just, like, when I'm done working or I just come from a busy situation, it's just taking a few minutes just to be in a quiet space. And that helps me a lot. I do like to colors. I do coloring and just loving on my dog and my pets, or talking to my sons or my husband. I mean, sometimes that's all you need is just a change of scenery, or going outside and taking a walk, or just sitting outside and getting some fresh air. So those are some simple things that you can do. It doesn't have to be, you know, rocket science. It doesn't have to be anything like that at all. So, okay. Point number 2, healthy coping mechanisms and support. Now, this one to me will probably be the hardest one, because once you find these coping skills that you feel are working for you, then it's like a muscle. It's like an exercise. You have to keep doing it and doing it and doing it until it gets easier for you and it's second nature. And, okay, and sometimes you think they're working and then they don't work, or they stop working, and then you have to try something else, which is frustrating. But you don't give up. You just keep doing it. You just keep trying. Okay? And it's not easy stuff, people. So, healthy coping mechanisms and support. So, first, point 2A, promote healthy coping mechanism for dealing with stress and negative emotions. So, some of these encourage activities like exercise, meditation, or if you're Christian, or whatever type of religion you are, um, there's all escaping my brain right now. Um, Praying, creative hobbies, spending time in nature, which these all can create impact can positively impact mental well-being. So Friday night, we have two huge trees in our on our property, and they're all the time dropping branches. And so the past few years, we had this big brush pile. We just keep piling, piling, piling. And I have been wanting to get rid of that. And usually what I do is just trim them down, tie them up, and then our recycling center comes and picks them up. Well, this summer I was like, I want to have a bonfire, but, who's going to do that? Well, finally I told my son, I said, you know what? Month of December, Jesus. That would be a sight in the middle of snow or whatever, having a bonfire outside. It's not really a bonfire, it's just a small little enclosed fire. But anyway, so September on Friday nights, let's have this little pit fire until we burn up all of our wood, and then we'll get rid of our branches. So so we got started we invited some people over. It was a great time and we had a blast. But what I did was I took my sandals off and I dug my toes into the cool grass. I was like, oh my God, this felt so good. I hadn't done this in forever, and I just like felt this like calmness and relief. I needed, why haven't I done this all summer? Just walked in the cool grass, Probably because I was afraid I'm going to step in some poop or something, but geez, this episode must have a poop theme or something, but just ignore that I've mentioned that a lot. Anyway, so getting into nature, I mean, it's incredible the effects that nature has on us, like smelling the flowers and listening to the trees and hearing the waterfalls. And Oliver and I were watching a part of an episode, and it was about New Zealand, and they've got these sulfuric springs that has a lot of healing powers. So the Maori, when they would do battle, would go to these springs. If they had wounds, they would rub this sulfuric mud on their wounds, and it would have healings effects on them. It's like an antibiotic type effect on them. And, Oliver was just talking about how amazing it was how the earth has these healing attributes to it, and how we can use that still today to help us. And I'm like, I know it's amazing. And then, Friday we had the fire going, and we were just mesmerized by the fire and the little glowing coals and just how calming it was to us. And so definitely take advantage of that. And it was free. We just had to put the work in to get it started. So create a strong support network within the family. Hopefully you do have family that you can rely on when you're having a depressive, or you're in a manic state or a depressive state or whatever it is. If you don't, then you need to reach out to me. I will be your family. I have a whole group of ladies that would love to be your support system. We support each other, and we are there for each other when we are going through things. And it's very euphoric, and it's very reassuring to know that if I have anything going on, that I can reach out to them. I mean, trust me, my life is far from perfect. Like, seriously. So I know if I still need help, if you need help, we can do this together. So, you know, getting a strong network within your family, emphasizing empathy, active listening. Does anybody do active listening anymore? Emotional validation, sharing experiences and providing emotional support can help members feel less isolated and more understood. So I like hearing when I hear someone that's been through something that I went through, and I look at them and I see that, oh, they seem to be more positive because of that. Then I know that if they can get through it, then I can get through it, right? So I feel like that's thumbs up, right? So if that happens to me, then that can happen for you. So that's what you need to do is, you know, ask people, hey, have you been through this kind of situation? If you have, do you mind telling me, like, what did you do? How did you take care of this problem? How did you experience it? Because I'm kind of feeling lost, but you're going to have to put yourself out there, or you could say, I'm asking for a friend. So, and then point 2C, if needed, consider involving a mental health professional, such as a therapist or counselor, um, who can guide the family in developing effective coping strategies and communication skills. So if you come from a family who's like totally sucks at communicating, then yeah, maybe you do need to get a hold of your doctor and say, hey, can you know, um, refer me to a counselor or somebody I can talk to because I'm needing some help. And there's plenty of people out there. I see that commercial BetterHelp, and they have the virtual app, or they have an app and you can talk to someone virtually. So they're like someone on the fly. And now, like my doctor, he's just a general practitioner, but if I have something going on, um, I can email him, hey, this is happening right now. What can I do to help? And he'll respond when he can. So if it's a 911 thing, then obviously he'll like, you better call 911. But if it's a non-emergency, then he can, respond. So, but yeah, I definitely would definitely reach out to a health professional um, if you're not having any luck with getting anybody to listen to you within your family or a friend or whatever. Especially if you have someone who obviously cares, but the advice they're giving you is not solid, you know, and they're like, "Oh yeah, just go rob a bank. You'll get a rush from it, and you'll feel lots better." But you end up in prison for for a long time. Yeah, you don't want to do that, people. Okay, that's not good. We don't want that to happen to you. So, I would rather you go talk to a health professional than end up in prison. So, okay, so point number 3, positive lifestyle changes and prevention. So, 3A, focus on adopting a healthy lifestyle that includes a balanced diet, regular exercise, and sufficient sleep. Your physical well-being can have a significant impact on mental health. So I always think, for the longest time, before I even heard this come about? I always thought of my brain as like your computer brain, like your computer. And so it goes in sleep mode, and then sometimes it wakes up and you've got it scheduled to do like a deep frag and all that good stuff. So you have to get sufficient sleep so that your brain can do all that. And it has to do that every day. It has to go through all the stuff um that it accessed throughout the day, has to put it all back in its place, reorganize it, so that it can be used again for the next day. That's just how I think of my brain. Your brain may not be that messy. It may be well organized. Mine's not. So I have to have sufficient sleep. Um, so you have to eat regularly and you have to have regular movement. So I'm realizing more now that I'm older that I have to move on a regular basis, because if I sit too long, and don't forget, my job is, that's all I do is sit and work at a computer. And if I sit too long, I cannot, I'm stiff. I have to get up and move, or I can't get up and move. Like I can hardly move. So our bodies are designed to be up moving around, getting that blood moving. Your blood carries that oxygen. That oxygen and blood has to get to the oxygen has to get to your brain. And that's what helps you keep thinking positively, right? So, one of the things I've learned this summer is that um, I had a hair test done, and my body was low on protein. And protein, once you increase your protein, your depression levels go down and you're not as depressed. So, all of that is intermingled together. Okay, so you have to have a good balanced diet. And when I am not eating regularly and I'm not getting my proteins in and my other supplements in that I need, um, I will just be dragging and dragging. And then I can't think properly. I can't think straight. And then it just goes downhill from there. It really does. So, point 3B, encourage a sense of purpose and accomplishment by setting achievable goals and celebrating successes together. This can boost self-esteem and motivation within the family. So what you want to do is set achievable goals. So you want quick wins, and then you want a long-term goal, right? So like for me, I wanted when I went through my really bad bout of depression in 2020, my main goal was to make things right with my son, my middle son, which that did not happen for a long time. It was over a year. And so, but in the meantime, what could Nikki do? So Nikki decided to work on herself. Because that was the only thing I was in control of, was myself. So I started working on making sure I was taking my medication. I started working on my house. My house, I mean, when you have kids that have grown up in a home that you provided for them, they think it's okay just to leave and leave all their stuff here. They take what they want with them. And you're left here holding, taking care of everything. So I slowly started going through things, and trust me, like I'm looking at my office slash studio, and I'm like, if you all knew, I wish I had just taken pictures of all the stuff I have gotten out of this place. And you would think my house would be barren, but it's not. I still have more stuff to get out of here. But I've accomplished a lot. So that was one thing, was my home, myself, my health, my home. And then there's just other goals that I've been working toward, my podcast, my coaching. So I've just slowly, just gradually have grown as a person over, since 2020. And I've made so much improvement since then. Do I still get depressed and do I still suffer with anxiety? Heck yeah, I do. But I've developed skills. All of this stuff that I talk to you people about, I do. I have to work. I have to use these things myself because otherwise I would drive myself insane. I would drive my family insane. I have to take medication. I have to do all of that stuff. So I wouldn't be just sitting here telling y'all to do this stuff if I didn't feel like it worked. I mean, I would be a hypocrite. So, okay. Then my very last point is fostering and nurturing a positive environment at home. Express gratitude, practice mindfulness, and engage in activities that promote joy and laughter. These positive experiences can counteract the negative impact of depression. So, my I love that we talk about expressing gratitude, being grateful for what we have, being grateful for what we've accomplished, practicing mindfulness, being intentional. This stuff doesn't just fall out of the sky and it just happens. You have to practice this. You just don't take a pill that the doctor gives you and everything is just miraculously better. I mean, the medication helps you feel better so that you can start practicing these skills and building those muscles so that when these life situations come at you, you totally are not bulldozed over and feel like the sky is falling on you. It doesn't happen overnight, people. And when you are always feel like you're putting out fires and not preventing fires, then you need to be practicing some of these. And even though this is like definitely talking about depression, a lot of the stuff you can do for any situation. It doesn't just have to be, well, I don't have depression, so I don't need to practice any of this. You can practice mindfulness. You can practice promoting joy and laughter in your home. These can go for anybody. You know, I mean, seriously, don't be so obtuse. And let me make sure crap, I did it again. I went to the stupid mouse. uh, okay. Yeah, like healthy coping mechanisms. Anybody can do these. You know, nobody's life's perfect. I mean, we all have stress. Just because we're not specifically diagnosed with depression, we all get stressed from work. We all get overloaded from, family stuff. So yeah, we can all do exercise. We can all meditate. We can all do hobbies. Whatever it is you like to do. Take your kids and go spend time in nature, you know, and make sure you have time laughing with your family and being mindful with them so that, you know, they do learn these coping skills because you never know when they get older, when they become a teenager. I mean, I am so worried about our kids these days and the things they're facing. I mean, I am so glad I'm not raising my kids in today's, like, the COVID things and things that are going on that I hear are happening. I would be, I think I would probably dig a hole in the ground and stick us in it and be like, no, we are not going out of this hole until it's all done. Now, I know that's not a reasonable response, but anyway, so let's review. Darn it, I went for the mouse again. Uh, so breaking the cycle of depression within a family requires a multifaceted approach that addresses emotional, psychological, and emotional factors. So you are open communication and education. So you educate yourself, you research things, on the internet. There's so much on the internet. Um, you look up healthy coping mechanisms and provide a support group for your family. Create a positive lifestyle change and prevention. So the very last thing I want to go over is remember breaking the cycle of depression requires ongoing effort, patience, and commitment to change. It's important to approach this with, these specific needs of your family. If depression is severe or persistent, you need to make sure they go to the doctor. Because if it's undiagnosed, then it could be life threatening. They could die because they could either commit suicide or they don't take care of themselves, and then other things could happen because of it. So I hope this has been helpful for you. If you have family member and you're like, I don't know what the heck to do with these people, and you've just kind of been at a loss and they're really not taking care of themselves. Now, granted, they may act like they don't care, but they care, but they may not know what to do. Maybe they're wanting someone to give them a push. Maybe you're that person. So it's just best to put yourself out there and help them. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. And I've been revamping my website. Dear Lord. I've been revamping my website. Okay. So you can reach out to me there, or you can reach out to me on Facebook. It's going to be okay. And I would be glad to help. And so anyway, I hope you have a wonderful week. Jesus, I am talking like Elmer Fudd. It's time for me to go, people. Have a wonderful week, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.